There is an argument in the guitar community that has been raging since the beginning of time, or since guitars were a thing. But anyways, today I am going to put that argument to rest. Not really, I'm just gonna throw my half-ass attempt into the internet ring and do my own probably flawed testing so I can say that I have real world experience with it, and hopefully along the way, it shows you guys something that maybe you didn't already know. Today, we're gonna find out whether Tonewood is a thing or not. Let's do it! Alright guys, hope you're having a great day out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle. What I do is I take all sorts of awesome high gain related guitar equipment, record it with a simple setup, and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. And even though we will be doing that today as well, it's definitely a little bit of a different video for me. Now, way back when I picked up my first Gibson guitar, I got deep into the argument of does Tonewood matter or not? And the reason for that is my first Gibson guitar just sounded way different than all the other guitars that I had owned prior to that. It was brighter, snappier, it felt more alive, and the only thing that I could deduce would cause that difference compared to my other guitars is the Gibson had a maple cap on it, whereas the others did not. So of course, my stupid, younger, very impressionable self took what they read on the internet as gospel, that the maple cap that Gibson puts on their guitars, on their Les Paul, is what makes them sound brighter and snappier and more alive than guitars that don't have a maple cap, those that have just a single wood body like mahogany. But this really started to fall apart for me because as I got more and more guitars in my possession, I noticed that even guitars with maple caps like the Gibsons didn't really sound the same. Like every guitar really kind of had its own different voicing. But one thing that seemed consistent across most of my guitars was that the maple capped guitars sounded brighter. So I always subscribed to the idea that Tonewood matters. But recently, this argument has kind of come back into the limelight. I mean, it's never really gone anywhere as far as the guitar community is concerned. Everybody has an opinion and everybody will always have an opinion, and all of their opinions will always be wrong. Just a poor attempt at a joke, but I can't wait to read your hateful comments regardless. So of course, when it comes to the metal community, it seems that Glenn Fricker and Spectre Media Group are doing their best to set the world on fire and watch it burn from a distance. Any new topic that Glenn seems to cover seems to basically, become the talking point for the next couple of weeks, or possibly even longer. It really depends on how long Glenn decides to kick that dead horse down the street. So naturally, when he took on the topic of Tonewood, that got everybody talking about that again. And for myself, I hadn't really thought about it much because I kind of have just come to the conclusion that every guitar has its own sound and the Tonewood doesn't really matter. But I really wanted to find a way to test it out here on the channel and share my results with you guys. So for this, I actually reached out to my friends over at Sweetwater to provide these two almost identical PRS SE guitars. Both of these are the PRS SE McCarty single cut 594 models, but the one difference between the two guitars is one has a maple cap, the other does not. Everything else is like for like between these two guitars. They have the same frets, they have the same pickups, they have the same hardware, all the way down to fretboard, nut material, tuners, everything else. The sole difference is that maple cap. So what we're gonna do is we're going to conduct a couple of different tests to see if this maple capped guitar is really brighter than this one that is just mahogany. So this video will be broken into 3 different parts. The first part will be a blind tone test in a full guitar mix. For the second part of the video, I am actually going to take these two guitars up to my local music store and have a few different people play them, not tell them what I'm doing, just having them play these two guitars and telling me what they think the perceived differences are, and see if other people can tell the difference between the Tonewoods. And third, we will be doing something that goes against every instinct in my body, and that is testing these guitars out with a clean tone. That's right, I said it. And then following that clean tone, we will also do a slightly overdriven tone to complement our high gain guitar mix earlier in the video, just so you guys can see how the guitars sound completely on their own. It should be the easiest to notice the differences in that test. Finally, we will end the video with the blind test reveal. So I guess that actually makes this video 4 parts. Sorry, didn't think that one through. So yeah, when you guys are listening to the blind test portion, I want you guys to write in the comments which guitar you think is which, and then at the end of the video we will revisit the clips and I will reveal which guitar is which. And be honest in those guesses in the comments, guys. I really want to see what you guys have to say and if you end up being right or not. And in the end, it's not really about being right, it's just about trying to hopefully learn something. So with all that being said, let's go ahead, let's jump into that first blind test. Again, everything on these guitars is the same, including they have both been plecked, they have both been set up to the same action and neck relief. Both of the bridge pickups, which is primarily what we're going to be using this video, solely what we're going to be using in this video, are set to the exact same distance away from the strings themselves. They have the exact same strings on them, both brand new sets of the D'Addario XT coated nickel plated steel strings. So with all that out of the way, let's get into test number one. All right, so that was both guitars in the mix, A and B. Let me know which one you thought was which down below in the comments. Now for the signal chain for that clip, I used my Splon Super Sport 50 with the KT88s in it. I used the MXR M77 overdrive, and then just an SM57 on the M65 creamback in my Palmer cab. Two things that I want to note about that signal chain. I wanted to do this on a real amplifier because I feel that plugins or digital sources definitely do not react as sensitively as their real amp counterparts. It's really easy to get very, very similar results from multiple guitars using plugins and stuff because I feel like a lot of them are not, they don't react like an amplifier does to the dynamics of your playing or the dynamics of the guitar itself. So I wanted to be sure I used a real amplifier, and I chose the Splon because it is a little bit more sensitive to different guitars, different pickups and stuff than something like, say, a PV5150, which is incredibly compressed. The sound is very baked into that amplifier and it doesn't change as much from pickup to pickup. I wanted to utilize an amplifier that would show the differences a little bit more apparently. So hopefully after it gets put through the microphone and mixed in with the drums and stuff, it won't be completely masked by the high gain amp itself. And all I'm doing for the EQ on the guitars on that track is a low cut and a high cut. Nothing else will be touched. Again, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and we will revisit this clip later in the video to see if you were right or not. Now for test number two, I took these up to World of Music here in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I had a few of my friends that work at that shop compare them back to back through the same amplifier. I didn't tell them what I was testing for, I just wanted to listen to what they had to say about the differences that they noticed between the two guitars, unprompted, not necessarily looking for anything in particular, and the results were somewhat surprising. Let's check it out.
There's 3 cameras?
Yeah. What we're gonna do here is I'm gonna have you play each of these guitars individually, and then I just want you to tell me how you think they sound comparatively.
Okay.
That's it.
This one's kind of warm and boomy.
Okay. You don't want to try with gain, just clean?
Clean for now.
Just clean for now. CFM. Perfect. Some gain, and then give me your final thoughts.
both. They both sound good. Yeah.
All right, so overall, you would characterize this guitar as being a little bit brighter, more articulate. Maybe that one a little darker. Would you say it's fuller, or do you still think this is fuller? That one's just generally a little bit.
That one's definitely fuller.
Okay.
Yeah. This one would be better for doing single note stuff. That's a better chord monster. What's that? Yeah.
Big thick boy.
Big thick boy. I like this. I like how this one sounds.
So the reason that I'm doing this whole thing, both of these guitars have been plucked. They've been set up with the exact same strings, with the same setup from the factory. They are identical guitars except for one thing.
Pickups.
This one has a maple top.
Oh.
That one does not. So do you find it surprising that the one without the maple top is brighter overall?
Yeah. Kind of
Counterintuitive to like everything that basically everything we've been told.
Did you find the same thing?
Yes. Considering you and I both agreed that the maple top is darker, kind of backwards of what we've been told.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. So go ahead, take a seat.
All right.
I'm just gonna have you play these guitars one by one and kind of like listen to how they sound.
Okay.
And then, you know, we'll go from there. I don't want to reveal too much to start.
So I'm left-handed, so I am gonna play it upside down.
Okay, that's fine. And no pressure. I'm not. I'm just here. Bridge pickup real quick just so you can hear that for comparison.
Oh yeah.
Guitar number 2.
Perfect. Are these both McCarty's?
Yeah, they're both the McCarty 594s, the newer models.
These different pickups?
Same pickup.
Same pickups.
Before we go to the gain channel, like, are you noticing any differences between the two as far as sound?
On the bridge pickup, to me, this one sounds a little bit brighter.
Okay.
A little bit brighter here, and then that one in the treble, it sounds a little bit darker on the low,
Okay.
on the high strings.
Okay. All right, so when we go to the gain channel, start on this one, and then just try to focus on the bridge pickup, and then we'll swap you guitars real quick.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This one by far has a better snap.
Okay, so
This one has a lot better snap to it.
So while they're both kind of fresh in your mind, yeah, how would you characterize this guitar versus that guitar sonically?
So that one blends really well together for a chord on the bridge pickup, but with this one it has a better snap to it.
Okay.
So you can kind of hear the high end out of every chord you play a lot better.
So you would say this one's kind of brighter, more articulate
Yeah.
than this one, and this one's a little bit darker?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. All right, so the point of this video is both of these guitars have been plucked. They've both been set up with the exact same strings, the same setup from the factory. They're both even the exact same weight.
Okay.
So the only difference between the two guitars is this one has a full maple cap, and that one is all mahogany. No cap.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
You and Adam and myself, all three of us so far, have all said that that guitar is brighter.
Oh, so we've all kind of came
Yeah,
to the same.
yeah. So basically, what I want you to do is play the guitar and kind of listen to how it sounds generally, and then I'm going to swap you guitars and have you tell me basically what you think they sound different tonally. Yeah, go ahead. Just do the same thing on this one. So first impressions on the clean channel, how would you say they differ?
That just, I mean, just from the quick
Yeah,
couple
just from
chords,
quick,
that
yeah.
seemed like it had a lot more low end to me. They both sound killer.
Yeah?
A lot of bite. I hear a lot of bite on both of them. Not
Okay.
hearing I mean, they sound really similar.
Yeah.
There's something about this one that I think that maybe a little more bite. Maybe not. Just me in my head too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Placebo, brighter or darker, or the other is brighter or darker, or...
It's funny. I think this initial one I thought was darker,
Okay.
And I actually think it might be a little brighter
Okay.
than that one. A little bit more bite is what I'm kind of hearing out of it.
Okay.
But not necessarily, I don't know.
Okay.
Could be placebo too, I guess.
Right, yeah. Just
Yeah,
kind of.
they sound so close.
Very, very close. So the reason that I'm doing this video,
Yeah.
both of these guitars are, they've both been plecked. They've both been set up exactly the same with the exact same strings. They've got the same pickups, same hardware. The only difference between the two guitars, this does not have a maple top. That's got a full, like, 3/4 inch maple cap on it.
I think I'm kind of close when I said yeah.
So the interesting thing though is out of the 4 people who have done this so far, you're the only one that's thought that this one was brighter. Which honestly, when I'm listening to you play, I could hear the differences clearly. Like when they were playing or when I would play it. When you were playing, it was harder to tell the difference.
Yeah.
So like, it obviously play style has an effect too, but overall, like I really couldn't tell the difference when you were playing.
No,
So
it was hard to tell.
I think it's fair to come to
Yeah,
that
I noticed.
assessment.
I definitely, like I said, with this one when I kept going back to it, like I said, I thought it was at first was deeper.
Yeah.
But I think I mistook that for bite. I feel like this one just had a little bit more bite. I mean, but they're so close.
Right.
They're just so close.
Yeah, so the whole my premise of the video is, does Tonewood actually matter? Does a maple cap actually make a difference on a guitar? 3 out of 4 people so far have said that this no maple cap guitar is brighter than the one with the maple cap. And you thought that they were basically
Almost
distinguishable.
identical. Yeah, I
Right.
almost could not tell.
Right, so it's like, okay, how much does Tonewood actually matter? Well, thanks for your participation, man. That was fun. All right, so very curious to see what you guys have to say about what you just witnessed. I found the results really quite interesting. It really seemed like it was gonna go one way, and then somebody had to throw a wrench in the works, but hey, that was the real honest reaction of that person. So just goes to show you that maybe not necessarily everybody hears the same thing. So for the third and final test, our dreaded, disgusting clean tones, we are going to be going into the Engel Iron Ball SE, the clean channel. We will have no effects. We are going into a Palmer 212 loaded with M65 creambacks, and we have an SM57 on those creambacks. There will be no post-processing. We will be doing the same for the crunch tones, just into a PV Classic 20 mini head. Again, no overdrives, nothing. We're going directly into the amplifiers. These signals are as dry as they're gonna get, just like your significant other once you buy one of these guitars after this video. Alright guys, so with those riffs being heard on the clean channel and on the crunch channel, really curious to see which one you thought sounded maybe brighter, if one sounded duller, if you didn't hear any differences at all. Now that you can see the guitars and you can actually form a cognitive bias. I'm very curious to see how you guys are going to reply to this test when you can actually see the guitars when they're being changed out, and whether or not your cognitive bias was right. But with all of the other tests out of the way, it's time for the big reveal. Which guitar was which in our initial blind test? We find out now. Alright guys, so there you have it. Were you correct in your original guesses? These guitars live up to their tonal stereotypes, i.e. the mahogany-bodied guitar being darker and being fuller, and the maple-capped guitar being brighter and snappier. I think this is going to be an eye-opener for some, especially if you came to the same conclusion that I did, which is the mahogany-bodied guitar is actually the brighter, snappier guitar of the two. I found this really surprising, and I personally noticed it pretty much right away when I first started playing these two guitars back to back when they showed up. The maple capped guitar was pretty noticeably a little fuller and a little bit more dull on the top end than the mahogany guitar, and that's pretty much the exact opposite of what most people would expect in this situation. So all that did was just kind of reassure me in that I was not crazy thinking that you really have to judge a guitar on its own individual basis. Yeah, this was really fun for me. This is the first time I've kind of done a comparison like this, especially with a blind shootout. I had a lot of fun putting it together, and I had a lot of fun going up to World of Music and getting some other people in on the test, getting some other people on the channel. So, curious to hear from you guys. Do you guys want to see more content like this? Would you like to see more comparisons? Would you like to see me taking on more of the guitar community's greatest myths? Please let me know, because I like doing this stuff for my own personal experimentation, and if you guys would like to see more stuff like this on the channel, I would love to make it. Another huge shout out to my friends over at Sweetwater for sending these out, for sponsoring this video. If you guys decide you want to pick up either of these two awesome guitars, you guys know how much that I've been digging these PRS SE McCarty 594 single cuts because I talk about them and use them in a lot of my videos. Make sure to head over to that Sweetwater affiliate link. Click that link because it helps your boy out immensely and it costs you nothing extra. And thank you guys for watching this video and replying in the comments and leaving me your thoughts. I had a lot of fun with this one. It was nice to mix it up a little bit. That's gonna do it for me today, guys. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time. You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.